Alright, so in this video we're going to add camera movement to this animation. So far it's looking okay, but we can make it look a lot better. Something like this. So you notice the camera's really alive in this. It's moving a lot, adding a lot of excitement. And doing camera movement in stop motion in real life is pretty hard, so a lot of people choose to do it in post and After Effects. That, and it helps you hide things, like you can see I put tape on his feet here to make it easier to animate, and that's something we want to hide. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is pre-compose this by grabbing time remapping composition, and I'll rename the composition camera movement. So you'll notice that our composition is 4:3 right now. It's the same dimensions of our images. Now, if we look at the dimension of our images, we have 3,888 by 2,592. Whenever you do stop motion, you want to take as big of image as you possibly can. Maybe not as big as you possibly can if you're shooting with a really nice DSLR, because you'll fill up your hard drive pretty quickly. But you want it to be bigger than what your actual video will be. So our actual video is going to be a 1080p HD video, and the size of those are 1920 by 1080. So I'll go to composition settings, and I'll change ours to 1920 by 1080. So the width is 1920 and the height is 1080. Press OK. So you can already see how much wiggle room we have. Now you can select the layer, which is our animation, and you can drag it around, and you can see that it'll look good because it's not being stretched, it's bigger than the video. It'll look good no matter where we drag it, as long as you don't drag it so far that you can see the edges. So I'm going to change our view to fit right here, and you can still drag it around. And basically what I'm going to do is set a bunch of keyframes to make it look like the camera's moving around. So to add these keyframes, I'll go to the beginning of the video, click this arrow on the layer, click this, and then you see these different properties you can keyframe. So to make it look like the camera's moving, you mainly want to keyframe position, scale, and maybe rotation, but I'm not really into that. So I'll just move the video where I want it to be at this point in time. I'll go forward in time, drag it again, and right now you can see I'm only affecting the position, but we'll deal with scale later. Drag the video again, go to where he stands up, I'll drag the video again, and at this point I noticed that we're really close to him, kind of want it to look like we're zoomed out a little bit, so I'll scale it down. You can see when I scale it down, the edge of the video is revealed, so I've got to move it back up. And that looks like pretty nice framing. You can actually go right here to choose grid and guide options and turn on title action safe. I kind of like to do that just to give me a sense of what looks nice. You can kind of center him within this inner frame or this frame. These things are more to ensure that your words don't get cut off when your video is cropped, if you're sending it somewhere where it might get cropped, but it's useful for anything really. So I'll just continue to go through this. I don't really want it to move around here in any specific way. Mainly I just want it to move when he's transforming. So we'll preview this and see how it looks. So already this looks a lot cooler, but it's definitely not finished. You can see that a little bit of the edge of the video is revealed, and that's because of this keyframe right here. So I'll just delete this because it's trash. I'll play it again, check it out. You can see that a little bit of the edge of the floor was seen here, or the edge of the video, and that's because we only set 2 keyframes for scale, one here and one here, so it's just gradually moving from 100 down to whatever we set it to, 84. And that's not really what I want. I only want it to zoom out when he stands up. I want it to be really close when it's a car. So I'll go right here and I'll manually drop a keyframe by typing in the value 100 so that scale doesn't begin to change until this interval right here. So now if we play it back, it's looking pretty good. We can see that the edge of the video isn't revealed, but you can also see that it's kind of choppy. It doesn't really look like real camera motion, I guess. So to fix that, you can highlight all these keyframes and then press F9 on your keyboard, or you can right click and go keyframe assistant easy ease, and I'll just add some ease to the keyframes so that they switch more gradually so it doesn't look so hard or harsh, and that's a really nice touch I like to add. And then I'll do that to scale too, since that's kind of how zooming works if someone were really there holding the camera and turning the zoom. And if you want to be really advanced, you can select one of these attributes and then press this right here, which is a graph editor, and then you can manually edit the keyframes, but that's a bit more advanced than I guess I'll teach in this tutorial. But yeah, so far this camera motion is looking pretty good, and really, that's all there is to adding camera motion. Now, you'll see that I stopped moving the camera after this, because there's not really anything I'm following, he just stands in one spot. But in the original video, the camera does continue to move, you'll see. So, check this camera out. So you can see it looks like someone's holding it. It's got some handheld motion, and I'll show you how to do that in the next video. And one thing I forgot to mention here is that you can press this right here to turn on motion blur. And what that'll do is it'll just add some blur to the image. So if I turn this off again, you can see there's no blur. Turn it back on, there's blur. And that just adds a nice touch, because obviously if someone's really moving the camera that fast, you get a bit of a blurry image. And that just adds some nice realism to it. So yeah, we'll continue doing camera motion in the next tutorial.